Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about Scream 7, just like my thoughts on it, because I know there's been a lot of talk about it, so I just wanted to say my piece as someone who's been a fan of the franchise for almost 3 years, and I'm also saying this as someone who did not look at any of the promotional material. Like, I didn't watch any trailers, teasers, nothing. I knew like hardly anything going into this movie, except like the basic things that are in a Scream movie now. First off, like before I get into my specific points, I want to say it's not as bad as everyone says it was. Like, it wasn't horrible, it wasn't absolute dog shit, but like it wasn't amazing. Like, it definitely could have been better. Firstly, sometimes it didn't feel like a Scream movie, you know what I mean? Like, it was still a good movie, but sometimes it didn't feel like a Scream movie. Like, it was just missing a little something that like made it Scream. I really liked the first two acts, but the third act, basically everything after the killer reveal, wasn't great. Now this isn't that big of a deal. This is nitpicky, but like I feel like the other movies are full of horror movie references, and this one has almost none. The only ones I noticed were the three movies mentioned in the opening scene, like when he's on the phone with the guy and he's asking him questions, and then like Mindy mentioning Halloween once. But like take that with a grain of salt, because I haven't seen a lot of horror movies that we reference. Like, I'm not very attuned to that. And yeah. Next, they did almost nothing with Gale and even less with Chad and Mindy. But I did like love what the little things that they did. Like, I love what they did, but like, come on, like Gale's been in the franchise since the beginning. And like, let me see my Queen Mindy and my man Chad more. Like, they did hardly anything. That's mostly Chad and Mindy. Next, Sydney clocked that shit, as she always does. I loved her, as I always do. She did amazing. Just one thing that she did, kind of like the one scene where like Tatum was in the coffee shop with the killer and she stopped running to her. I'm like, girl, keep going. But like other than that, she was amazing. Perfect queen. Next, Tatum was a bit annoying at the beginning, but like I grew to like her, and she also clocked that shit. I was like, when I found out her name was Tatum, I was like even her whole first scene where it's like it's the exact same as Sydney's first scene in the first movie. I was like freaking out in the theater. Next, Sydney's husband was a badass. Now, I was under the impression that her husband, Mark, as mentioned in the other movies, was Mark Kincaid from Scream 3. But I guess not. I guess she likes dudes named Mark. I don't know. But he was, in fact, a badass. Next, I called that blonde bitch was the killer immediately. Like, the first scene she was in, I was like, she's the killer. And the other guy, after he got unmasked, I didn't even recognize who he was for like a full minute until my sister was like, it's the guy from the mental hospital. And I'm like, dude, he was literally in one scene. How was I supposed to guess that? And in that one scene, like, you don't even like think about him. Like, he's not the focus of this scene. He just gives us a bit of info. Also, like, I wasn't really a big fan of the killers. I don't think anyone was. Like, I feel like they had very little screen time before the reveal, especially the mental hospital dude. And I also feel like the time in between the reveals and their deaths was shorter than usual. I don't know if that's true, though. And also, I didn't like their motive, and it kind of felt like they didn't really have a motive. Like, it wasn't really explained. Like, let's just say Charlie's finally made it out of last place in my Ghostface rankings, which I never thought would happen. Like, I feel like the weakest link of this movie is the killers, which, like, that's a pretty fucking important part. Next, I don't know if this is true, but like the Ghostface voice like sounded a tiny bit different. Like, everyone I've asked, like, they said like, no, it sounded the same. Like, so I don't know if I'm just like crazy or something, or I don't know. Next, I really liked the opening scene. Like, it was so cool. Like, apparently this was revealed in the marketing, but like I didn't know that was gonna like be at Stu's house or it was gonna be burned down. I just thought that was so cool. Like, there's like some good jump scares in that scene, and just like the entire thing was really cool. Like, I liked how it was at Stu's house and everything. Next, I feel like this movie had really good suspense. Like, I was on the edge of my seat almost the whole movie. Specifically, this entire scene of Ghostface in Sydney's house. Like, he's, like, in the attic, and he comes down the attic, and they're like, going through the walls and stuff, and he's, like, stabbing through the walls. Like, oh my God, I loved that scene. Also, like, the scene with McKenna Grace in the theater, where she was, like, swinging around. I'm so sad they killed McKenna that early, but, I mean, scene was good. The scene in, like, the bar, like, with everyone. The scene in the coffee shop where, like, Tatum's having to shoot through the wall. And, like, the opening scene, yeah. Also, I know it's the same length as the other movies, but, like, it felt shorter than the others. Like, it went by really fast. And that's probably just because, like, I was in the theater watching it for the first time and, like, the adrenaline, but, you know, yeah. Next, the kills were really good, and there was, like, a good amount of gore. Like, the gore was good. But I feel like not really any of the kills were really, like, unique. Like, I feel like they were all stabbings and shootings. Like, each movie usually has, like, a few, like, one or a few that's, like, not stabbing or shooting. The only one that wasn't really a stabbing or shooting was that girl in the opening scene, even though, well, she did get stabbed, she also got, like, lit on fire. But I also thought the kill, like, the kid getting his head put on the bar tap, that was really cool. Next, I feel like we didn't hear the rules that someone, in this case Mindy, always tells. It was more her pointing out the suspects, and that part in itself felt pretty short. And to add on to that, besides the scene where Mindy was pointing out the suspects, like, I feel like there wasn't anyone else suspecting anyone, like, basically throughout the whole movie. I feel like in the other movies, there's always people going like, oh, it could be you, oh, it could be you, whatever. Next, this is a very little thing I don't really care about, but I feel like nothing came of Ben having the AI video on his laptop. Like, it wasn't explained. I feel like that was just there to cast suspicion on him, but he died, like, 5 minutes later. Next, I think it was cool. I feel like a lot of people won't like this, but I think it was cool how, like, towards the beginning, the Ghostface, like, got hit by the car and killed, but, like, it wasn't the actual Ghostface in the movie. Next, I wasn't really a fan of the AI use. Like, it kind of felt like the magical voice changer in Scream 3, even though AI is, like, a real thing that many people use today and the killer might use. But, like, honestly, I'd rather the magical voice changer from Scream 3, like, bring that back, because I wasn't really a fan of, like, the whole AI thing. I'm pretty sure the voice changing thing is a thing you can do now. But, like, I don't think the AI, like, completely ruined the movie or anything. Okay. And last but not least, the big topic, Stu. Now, I have been a firm believer that Stu was going to come back, that Stu was alive for, like, 2 years probably. I made like a whole 15-slide presentation on it. And, but yeah, honestly, it kind of pissed me off what happened. Like, I feel like as soon as they, like, kept mentioning Stu and kept talking about him and all that stuff and, like, the videos of him, I was like, they're not gonna have Stu come back because they wouldn't talk about him. I feel like what they should have done is obviously have Stu be one of the killers, but, like, don't, like, keep mentioning him throughout the movie. Maybe have, like, a few offhand mentions of him and then, like, have it be a shocking reveal towards the end. But what I think would have been cool is, like, still have these 2 fucking dumbass killers, but either have him show up and, like, be working with them, or what I think would have been really cool is, like, they're explaining their motive and whatever to Sydney, and then he shows up and, like, kills one or both of them. Or, and, like, he, like, shows up and, like, kills one or both of them. But in either of those situations, he takes off the Ghostface mask and says, surprise Sydney with the voice changer. I wish that had happened. Oh my God. Like, I don't know. I just, like, such a missed opportunity. Like, with Stu coming back, you know. But to close out, it wasn't the best film. It wasn't amazing by any means, but, like, it was still good, and I still enjoyed it. Like, I've seen other people, like, there's this YouTuber I really like. No hate to him at all. I love him. He's called Filmstocked. Filmstocked. He's on, like, YouTube and TikTok, and I've been a fan of him for years. But he's talking about this movie, made, like, an 11-minute video reviewing it. Don't think he said one positive thing. He was like, oh, this is horrible. This is dog shit. Like, dude, you're acting like this is Nightmare on Elm Street 5 or something. Like, it's not that bad. It wasn't amazing, but, like, it was not that bad. But like, hey, he somehow sees this video, he wants to try and change my opinion. I invite you to, bud. But yeah, it was a lot of missed potential, I think. Like, it wasn't, I feel like I would have to, like, sit and stew with my thoughts for, wrong choice of word. I feel like I'd have to sit with my thoughts for longer to, like, properly place it in the ranking, but it's probably towards the bottom. But it was still a good movie. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't absolutely horrible like everyone's saying it is. And that's it. Thank you for watching.